Welcome back to Lucid Living, and if this is your first time, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you aboard. My name is Andrew Larkin. I'm an actor, model, performer, storyteller, breathwork coach, and today I'm going to be your host, your guide for today's podcast episode. All right, my friends, I am stoked for today's conversation with good friends, and I'm so inspired every day, and I'm really excited to dive into this. But before we dive into this incredible conversation, let's start with some nice grounding breath work. What we're going to do today is a box breath. So it's a balancing breath to just bring us back to equilibrium. So we're going to do an inhale for 5, a hold for 5, an exhale for 5, and a hold on that retention for 5. We're going to do that 3 times. And remember, as we breathe, we want to inhale through the nose. I know it might be tricky with allergy season. I just got hit the last couple of days, but if we can breathe through the nose, as we inhale, the belly's going to expand outwards like you're filling up a water balloon. Diaphragmatic breathing. Then we're going to hold it for 5, and then you're going to exhale, and that's going to go out your mouth. That belly's going to come back to your center, and then you're going to hold it there for 5. And we're going to do that 3 times. So let's get situated, ground ourselves in this moment, follow along with my counting, tap into the breath, listen to the breath. It brings you back to the present moment, which is the only moment that exists. All right, let's begin with an inhale through the nose. In 3, 2, 1, big inhale through the nose, big belly. 2, 3, 4, 5, hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale out the mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Another inhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale out the mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one through the nose. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale out the mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can return your natural breathing. Take a sip of water if you need. We are here. We are now. All right. And now, my friends, today we have a follower of Christ. We have a creator, a model, an athlete, a boyfriend, a son, a gamer, an anime lover, a critical thinker, and a true inspiration. Praise Adekunle Asalu. What's going on, brother?
What's good, my boy? Appreciate you, bro.
I miss that smile, man. He's got a great smile. Yeah, they're watching.
Thank you, bro. It's been so long. What was it like Wawa last, I think?
Yeah, man. So for anyone who doesn't know, Praise and I met, dude, that would have been, was that 2 years ago? Was it 2023 or 2022?
Probably 22.
Yeah. So Praise and I, we met, and it was like the first big job I think I ever booked. It was for Wawa, and I roll up at this Airbnb, like nervous, not really knowing what to expect, and I met this guy, this bright light, and it was us, it was Haley and Brenna. And it was just
Yeah,
4 of us, and like, dude, Scotty was one of the like producers on the set, making sure everything was running smoothly. He still says like we were one of the most fun groups that they like ever had. Like I'm like, I can't believe they're paying us to do this, bro. We were just having such a good time, and just bringing Wawa to life, dude. And then we ended up shooting another shoot with Wawa, which was funny because usually you get a call sheet and like
yeah.
you get to see who the talent is. When I went in, I didn't know who was shooting that day, I think. And like, dude, it was like the greatest reunion ever. It was
One by
amazing.
one, we were all just like, "Oh shoot!" What the vibe?
Yeah, but outside of Wawa, this man has done a lot of other stuff. And we're gonna dive into it. It's very, very exciting, very exciting. So, my brother, we'll start with just right now. Where are you at? How are you feeling in just this season of life?
Right now, oh man, honestly, I am the most thankful I've been. I've kind of like went through the biggest changes in my life like ever in terms of just like mentality and um just how I view life now. And it's freeing. I go throughout life just more content and just more like gracious for the little stuff. Like even just walking outside, walking my dog, instead of getting tight at my dog for not using the bathroom fast enough, I can just look up and look at the sky, like the trees, and just like, yo, I'm just living in God's creation. Like this is fire. Like I get
Yeah.
to just walk out and breathe, you know?
Yeah.
Um, right now I'm literally just I just finished college, so it's just in the real world now. It's like either you're consistent or you get left behind. So that's what I'm working on personally, just being consistent, especially on my the new primary platform, YouTube, instead of the stuff I do on Instagram and TikTok and all that. But it's been great because it's like I'm speaking for real now. I'm not cutting myself short. I'm just able to speak my truth and just enjoy the whole process of cinematography now because I love that. I love cinematography in like in general, and I get to essentially make mini movies now on YouTube, and
Yeah.
that's like the best part. So, along with new relationships, a lot of like old ones like kind of died off, but like in good ways, I say so. Almost like not dead weight, but like the baggage is not there anymore and stuff, and just growing in new ways in my old relationships as well. Just like my girl, like it's just a change in life, a change in mindset, just a change in just like thinking. It's so nice, honestly. So
Yeah, dude, I
yeah.
love it. We're gonna dive deep into all the cinematography and everything that you're doing there, but I want to dive into the past a little bit now because I always find every time I
Mhm,
meet anyone or even like people who like you knew and then you have like a different perspective on life. Like when I went through kind of a deep personal development journey, like you learn so much about like my stories and where they came from and like learning about how childhood influenced me and all these
mhm.
little steps that led like highs and lows that led to where I am right now. And I always like love diving deep into other people's stories and like where they came from. So if you wanted to share in your own words, what was life like for young Praise, like growing up? What was your environment like, your family situation like? What were your hobbies, your ins and outs, the ups and downs, kind of as you found what you liked, what you didn't like, and then the little steps, the big steps that got you to where you are right now.
All right, I'm gonna just backtrack like completely. This is gonna I hope I'm not too long with it, but
Oh, dude, it's a loaded question. You can take it any way you want.
so uh September 23rd, 2001. I was born in Newark, New Jersey, Beth Israel Hospital. You feel me? If you're born in Newark, you already know what's up.
Mhm.
But I was only out there for a year. My parents, they're both immigrants that came from Nigeria. My pops came in first to make us the money, and then my mom and other brothers, my two older brothers, came as well. We only lived in Newark for a year, and we came right down to South Jersey, and that's when like life started and stuff. During that time, I didn't know anything that was going on, but I felt like life was pretty good. It wasn't really anything wrong, I guess. Christmas wasn't like the things you see on TV. Like it was just socks or you get clothes for the fit to take to church.
Mhm.
But one thing I do remember completely is like I've been in church. Like I was born into the church since a young boy. Like both my parents were pastors. Like they would go to different cities and make different churches as well. So that was something that like my life was already centered on as a child. Um, Now, little stuff that I do remember, like my first friend, Emmanuel, like it's just crazy that's like preschool stuff, but I can remember him being my first exact friend. I'm still friends with him today, which is amazing. But once I got into school, that's when like I guess the difference in like life at home and life with real people kind of started to settle in
Mhm.
because that's when like emotions and you want to fit in and peer pressure and little stuff like that. But it was nothing crazy. I grew up playing football though. Love football. So literally since kindergarten or no, first grade, I played football till eighth grade.
Mhm.
And I genuinely wanted to be a football player. Like Ray Lewis is my favorite football player. And it was just like that was the goal. Like I thought that was what was gonna happen. Then come middle school, that's when things almost everything started to change, to be very honest with you. Um, Middle school, I guess I thought everyone from elementary school to middle school was going to be cool and, it's going to be a great transition. And I guess this is where I first met adversity because most of the friends that I used to have back then or used to have in elementary school kind of wasn't on the same vibe when I got to middle school because all their friends from other schools came. So they had their own groups and then I was just there. And it felt like I just lost everyone in a sense. And me being an African kid, at the time, we didn't get haircuts, we didn't get all the cool clothes and stuff like that. Thankfully, I went to a charter school, so like, uniform wasn't a problem, but like I didn't have like the Nikes or anything like that. So I'm
Mhm.
pulling up to school in the N1s, and you already know kids can be pretty mean. So that really started hitting where I started to feel like, I guess, judged. It was essentially bullying, but like in that time, I just felt like, dag, I'm not like everyone else. I don't have the cool stuff. I don't have all the stuff that they have. Maybe I need to be like them so they could like me. So because at that time, I'm just thinking grades. My parents pushed into my head since a young age, you have to be the best. Like you have to do the best with your grades. B is bad, essentially in their eyes. You have to get straight A's. That's all it is. And that's how I moved in the class. But even with that, that seemed to be taken as a negative thing. Um, like people laughing at me because I'm the one that always has their hand up first or whatever. And I'm just like, Dad, bro, am I wrong for wanting to be like to do well, or am I wrong for caring about my schoolwork and stuff like that? Um, and it didn't help that I didn't look good either because I'm a young bull, but
Mhm.
like getting joked on about little stuff like that, it's almost like it just getting punched on all sides about my being, things that I thought were fine prior to coming to middle school. But then towards the end, I started getting some like group of friends and stuff like that, but it just didn't, like, middle school wasn't the best of times. So high school came. High school, I'm essentially following my brother's shadows because both my brothers went there. So my family already has like some type of reputation there, which is good. It's a really good one. So I go there and already knowing some of my brother's friends as well, thinking like I have to be friends with everyone now. Like I can redo this whole life thing, I guess. But it didn't really go well because now it's like I'm pushing to find friends. I'm
Mhm.
forcing it, and I'm doing it any way I see possible. So whether it's the way I talk, because I'm came from a pastor's house, like I don't curse or anything like that, but now I'm cursing. Now I'm joking on people how they would joke back, because if you're getting joked on, you have to learn how to joke back. Um, I'm just trying to fit in. Like it just in hindsight, I guess it was very stupid, but in like me in that current moment, I was just like, this is what I need to do. And
Mhm.
I guess it's working because people are liking me. But I still have the haircut. That's not really the cool thing. But yeah. Some bright side though, that's when I started playing basketball. I was very bad at basketball freshman year of high school, but over time, that's when I learned to grow, and just that's where I guess my popularity started to grow over time as well. But yeah, like during high school, it was a battle of self. Like, who was my identity in? You feel me? Because I still tried to keep my grades well. I can really tell you, freshman year, I was still on that 4.0 track.
Mhm.
Sophomore year, that's when things fell off because I started to really dive into more what other people think or about other people. That's when I got my first girlfriend, like real girlfriend, and heartbreaking, heartbroken as well. So that like tanked my grades because I stopped caring. I was just like, yo, this girl hurt me so bad. And I was almost the beginning of like my heartbreak kid era where I wanted to just like hurt, like not hurt other people, but just like stop caring about what other people felt, other girls felt, I guess. Um, then sophomore year, I mean junior year, that's when I started to grow in terms of like, okay, I'm finding real friends, like core friends that I still have to this day. And that's when I got better at sports. My grades were still but I was still very much so doing everything that I learned from society and learned from. There's a bug in here. I'm so sorry. So we're just yeah, we're here, yeah. So but yeah, and I was still very much so trying to do everything that I saw was right, like through social media and stuff. I kind of started to, I guess, put out of my mind the things that I grew up on, the morals and things of my faith, me being Christian with them, like that just wasn't in my head. I would go to church and stuff. It was cool, but I was focused on trying to be cool.
Mhm.
And um, so stupid.
Mhm.
So stupid. But um, Junior year, cool. Senior year, that's when like it's like I guess reality started to hit me. This is you're about to go to college. Like, dude, you have to like graduate. Well, you're gonna graduate, but you have to find the college. You have to get money to go to college, like SATs and stuff like that. Things that matter, but I wasn't focused on because I was too focused on people.
Mhm.
Uh, I think the reoccurring situation here is like me just worried about what people think, having a sense of like I didn't know who I was, so I left it to other people to tell me that. And I'm literally making a YouTube video about this right now because it
People
sucks.
need to get in.
Yeah, it sucks that my identity was stuck in other people. But senior year, that's when I was like, okay, let me lock in. Got me my 4.0 something
Or
to make sure I can get to school. I got to school in like essentially a full ride. It was a community college and it was just free though, so that was perfect. But everything that came along with that year is like me kind of being a popular dude, I was told. Because me, I still didn't feel quote unquote popular. I still felt like I was trying to fit in.
Mhm.
But my friends outside, like they're telling me now, like, no, dude, you were that guy. And I'm like, and it's crazy how like my identity, my like perception of myself was like horrible compared to what everyone else thought. Um, and then going to college, this is when everything changed, I guess, because I had a perception of what I wanted to do with life. Like I loved, um, still did sports. I love sports. Basketball was my next sport after football because my mom said I couldn't play in high school because of injuries. Like she didn't want me to get injured.
Mhm.
But apart from sports, I loved games. Like I was a gamer on my PC. I would build computers, loved like the computer situation. And that's what I almost went to school for. I went to computer science. That was my first major.
Mhm.
And I realized computer science is just coding, and that's not like what I genuinely wanted to do. I like building them, but that's not where it was. And then I thought I would be an architect because I liked buildings
Yeah.
and thought that was cool. But I didn't understand at that time, but now I understood that I just loved like creation. I like being a creative, and the buildings was like the designing part. And I went into computer science because I got to be hands on with the computers and stuff. So college, a little bit more of me knowing, I guess, who I was through people. People thought I looked good, so I just felt as if I should talk to girls and stuff, and that was a like just a route of just nonsense. Like I was still very on like with it with my grades. Did not slip. At least I had that in order, but I was very focused on women during that time in the first couple of years. And but COVID hit. Just before COVID hit, though, that's when everything changed because I was playing for the team for the basketball team in my college, and it was cool. Whatever. I guess I was a college athlete, but that's when I first got my opportunity to model. This is when like my modeling arc, I guess, started because I took pictures and stuff in high school and it was cool, but now they said I remember it clearly. Um, I was getting Jamaican food, and my man's calls me. He's on campus. He calls me like, "Yo, bro, how fast can you get to school?" I'm like, "For what?" He's like, "Oh, there's a model casting here. You should hurry up." So I literally get my food, get back. I walk. This is the first time I'm ever doing a model walk. Super nervous. My lip was quivering.
Mhm.
I remember it to this day. But I walk, and they like me. They cast me for the school show and their big show in Atlantic City. And I was like, "Oh shoot, this is tough." Like
Mhm.
let's do it. Do the school show. Tough experience. After my first walk, I started walking like I was like I already been here. You feel me? And that's when this started. When I went to the bigger show, that's when I started meeting all the models, actors, people that's been in like big movies and stuff. I'm like, yo, this is what I want to do.
Mhm.
Like this is it. So me being like the guy I am, from there, I got like my close friend that lived in my city. We just started shooting all the time. I was just doing self shoots and just posting on my Instagram because I wanted to do this. I didn't know what other way, but I
Mhm.
was just like, I'm gonna make my own portfolio, whatever it's called. Um, since then, in that time, I probably did three more castings, no, three more fashion shows in that year. one for a school, one for Philly Fashion Week, and then another one for Atlantic Fashion Week in the fall. And this was like, yo, this is lit. Like I'm getting experience. I know how to walk. I'm getting shoots now. And then at one of the fashion shows, I met this guy, Kwame, and he put me onto an agency, Reinhardt. And that's how I got introduced to Reinhardt Agency, which is like my agency now. And that's when I started to get booked. Like for real, I started doing stuff at Insomnia, Nike, a bunch of different like companies that I never thought it would be possible to do so. And that's when the whole modeling arc began because I started working with DTLR. I met my super close friend Lewis, and he showed me content creation. He showed me through his Instagram that people can make videos, like short form videos of them unboxing sneakers and stuff. And that turned into me creating content as well, along with modeling. And that content stuff just started to go from like me making sneaker unboxings, because that like COVID gave me a very bad retail therapy situation.
Mm.
Um, yeah, COVID was actually a really good thing for me.
Yeah.
Like it was like I had COVID, and in that 2 weeks that I was in my room locked up, it was like my brain started changing. Yeah, like to a whole another vibe. And that's when I started creating more. Um, and the videos started to like blow up after 6 months of me doing it for real, like started to actually go. And from there, life just started to move in a crazy way. Mind you, I'm still in school this whole time. I
Yeah.
changed my major during COVID as well because I was going to be, computer science. Then I went to computer information systems, but then I went to communications,
Mhm.
which was in line with me modeling and doing content creation. And it was hard because my parents, um, Nigerian, Nigerian or just African in general, they're like, I would think that they wouldn't like me to switch my major from computer science, something that's like a solid field that you'll get a job, to communications to where it's like it's shoddy.
Yeah.
But the best response I heard from them was like, dude, we didn't like you have all reign over that. Like as long as you get a degree, we're good.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, this is tough. Okay, all right. So I got some support there, and then them supporting me when they saw money with modeling, that was cool because they they was like, ah yeah, go do your thing. Like because I would tell them I go shoot, but then they started seeing money from it. They're like, oh shoot, you're doing something. Just keep going, but make sure your schoolwork is good. And that's all like it really was. Like they didn't see anything wrong with it. And when content creation started to get big, that's when like real money started to slide through. And that's when I was able to move out. And then
Mm.
my parents were like, oh shoot, this is real. Like this is
Yeah.
my boy's actually doing something. But school was always like first in their mind. Like that's all they care about. But they were also proud that I could like make these videos or do certain stuff. And with that content creation stuff, I was able to meet so many, like, not even just content creation, modeling and content creation, the amount of relationships and just like experiences was just crazy. Like meeting people like you feel me? Just each shoot that there was like just something to learn from. There was like some experience that I was able to take from and use it in like the next one. And it kind of put me in a situation where I I guess I became a pro. Like I don't know if I guess professional. I don't really know in my opinion. I just feel
You
that I
watch your stuff. Yeah, I was like going through your stuff again. I was like, I was like laughing because I'm like, dude, this is so fucking good. This is like I was like the way you like move the camera and like the intensity and like the creative. Like I don't think people realize how like really creative and cool of a creative like liberty you have as a content creator to
Mhm.
write these like commercials. You know, like I mean, you might have a script of like a brand that wants you to hit a certain thing, but you have so
Yeah.
much liberty to really bring your voice, yourself, your essence to it. Like and you can do that with like kind of like equipment and it's still pretty good, but you put the package of the performer with the quality of the videos, dude, like it's sick. It's really
Love,
cool.
bro. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
That part, that's where like I guess there was a time period where that was great. Like I was new, I grew exponentially, like with following and stuff. But then things changed when it was almost like where what did I hold the most value to? Like I held a lot of value to, I guess, the money or the things I was doing, and not really any value to anything else. And like, me being Christian, I was like, I was half in, half out because I really cared more about me making money, me going on these trips, me getting these clothes, doing these brand deals. And I didn't have any, like, I still didn't have an identity.
Yeah.
Like, it goes right back to me caring about what people thought. All it did was give me a bigger audience to care for.
Mhm.
Me getting hundreds of thousands of followers. All right, these guys are telling me who I am now. These guys are the one that's telling me, "Oh, this is so cool, bro. This is great." But when those videos don't do as well anymore, because you don't have control over how the video does, when the videos don't do as well, that starts to tell me that, oh, I'm not doing well.
Mhm.
I'm a good creator or good whatever because I'm not seeing any good results.
Mhm.
That's what sent me into like a little like spiral downwards, and it caused me to like fall into like things that I didn't need to. Like, I wouldn't say I had any problems, but like I would indulge in things that I didn't need to. Like I would smoke, drink, be with girls, and thinking that like would help. Not even would help because I didn't do it consciously. It was just like an
Mhm.
unconscious thing to like just indulge in, which did not help. And it really sucked in hindsight, obviously. But like even after the fact, in those moments where I felt like, oh, that was whack. Like I didn't need to do that, but it's like I needed to feel some quick, was it a dopamine hit or yeah, like a quick dopamine hit when I don't actually need to. And it wasn't until a few traumatic things happened where like I wouldn't say I almost died, but like it was just very hard in my life that I had to understand like, okay, the things that I have, me quote unquote having everything at 20, I was like 20, 21 with all the money, like girls and I guess access to a lot of stuff. It
Mhm.
was really nothing at the end of the day. All the people that I've met, all the people that I've acquired on these apps don't mean anything at the end of the day because my false sense of identity was only coming from those things.
Mhm.
Um, that's when I had to like come back into my faith. And it was the hardest thing ever because like I know a lot of people have a preconception of like Christianity that you don't get to do anything fun. And that was mine. That's why I didn't like really want to go back to it. And that's when things changed because I was like, all right, I guess I got to do it because I've had everything else. I've tried everything else. Like, what should I do now? And when I went back and really like locked back into my faith, because the Bible does say, raise a child in the way he should go, and he won't depart from it when he gets older. And that's exactly what happened. I came back to like my faith, and it was a very hard thing because I was still struggling with all the pleasures that I already had.
Mhm.
Like, I have to stop drinking. I have to stop having sex. I have to X, Y, and Z. But when I actually like was able to experience God for the fullness of who he is and know that someone loves me no matter the little stuff I've done, no matter the struggles I've been through, even me despite like all the stupid things I've done, it was like, oh shoot, this is what real love means. Like something that's unconditional, something that doesn't have bounds. Like he doesn't love me just because I say a prayer. No, he loves me just because he loves me. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm like, that's insane. Like, how can someone do that? But literally, once I accepted him into my life for real, that's when everything else in my life started to change too. Like the way, like I said, like thought process, the way I looked at people, the way I spoke to people. It was like I literally did a 180 and it was like so nice. It was like so freeing, so peaceful. But I was like, you would think everything was going wrong, I guess, because I started to change my content. Like I was a very fashion and lifestyle content guy. And
Mhm.
I stopped caring about the things I owned because those are the things that I held very high to in the past. But now it's like I look to God now for my value because he tells me I'm a masterpiece. He tells me I'm beautifully and wonderfully made. I'm someone that no one can tell me otherwise. And I'm like, all right, well, if that's the case, then I don't actually need a sneaker wall full of shoes, like, and all the possessions that I had that were very expensive that would tell me that, oh, I have it like that. I don't need those things anymore. So on the outside looking in, you're like, yo, this guy just sold everything, like little stuff like that. But it was like, no, I'm just freeing myself of the things that I don't need anymore. Like I started to learn life was a lot more about contentment and what you have and who you are
Yeah.
than things that you could get and the people that you could be with.
Yeah.
And it changed, like it made me feel so good. And that's when I started to enjoy more
Yeah.
because my girlfriend now, love her. I can experience her more in a way that isn't physical, but it's an intimacy that God truly wants. That's what love was. Like really, that's what I understood like love was. That it's experiencing someone in a way that is beyond more than just having sex. It's like I wanna I wanna please you emotionally. I want to make sure you feel good mentally. I want to bless you in ways that I never thought I could, but it's just because of how I changed my thinking. Well, the Holy Spirit really helped change my thinking. It was like, God, help me out because I struggle in these places. And then I'm putting the actions to do so. Like, that's like, it was so much, like, so much change. But what I understood, like, really, like, understood is that the change only happened because I trusted in Him to help me do it. But I actually put the action in, I put the work in to do so. And it started to just happen. And I'm like, this is what life really is, and it's not fun because I'm not drinking or smoking. If anything, I'm having more fun because it's more wholesome. If
Yeah.
anything,
It's more aligned.
so, I guess
Exactly.
that's what we're back to the present. Sorry, that was long.
I love that. That was so beautiful. I have so many questions, but first one I want to ask, your acceptance with God, was it a moment? Was it like a gradual effect? Was there like an event that happened that brought you down that was like a come to Jesus moment kind of thing? Or how was
It
that?
was there was a few of them. There was like a few times where like okay, so I started going to this church, let's say September, no, November of last year. And first worship youth night, I was like, yo, this is fire. Like
Mhm.
this is super nice. It's cool. But it was just once a month after that. But then it wasn't until like February where like things started hitting. Like some dude came and some like pastor came and he preached and I'm just sitting there like, yo, this is like hitting my heart right now. Like this is serious. And then March came. It was March 8th and 9th. Um, those 2 days, like it was like during this time, like since like before March from January, I was at peace with God. Like I'm actually walking with him now and I'm doing my best to like give things over to him. But on that day specifically, the guy was preaching, everything was hitting, and he said he was gonna do an altar call. Like everyone just comes to the front of the church and just like you just laying it all down essentially, right? And before he even called it, like I already felt something in my heart. Like my heart was beating fast. And I haven't felt like that in like a while because I've been at peace recently. So when I got up there, I was like, God, like, I don't know what else I'm holding on to or whatever, but like just take it. Just do whatever you need to do. And I instantly like drop down and start like crying. And me being someone that like, I won't lie, since a kid, I haven't really been emotional or whatever. I don't cry much because like that's just I guess I should have brought it up earlier, but like wasn't much physical touch as a kid. Like there wasn't much like loving on. It was just like we provide for you type of love and you keep going. So I wasn't really emotional. So I'm dropped down on the floor in a ball, fetus crying. And I'm like, this is weird. Like this is different. Like I'm crying in a ball right now. And I instantly just see my girl in my head. Like, and I'm thinking that like I was supposed to just give her up. And I'm like, no, I don't want to give her up. God, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is the one person I actually love for once.
Mhm.
And I do it. I'm like, all right, God, just you can have her, she's cool. But later on, I understood like what he was telling me in that moment was I never learned to love God. Like I know that's hard to like, I guess hard to put your like wrap my head around at the time, but I learned to love people's opinions. I learned to love people before, or the things of this world before I ever learned to love God. I always knew who God was. I already, my family been in the church and stuff. I already knew the words, the Bible, scriptures, all that, but I didn't really know him or believe in him enough to say I love him. And that's when I was like, oh, that's what I need to do. It's not that you want me to break up with my girlfriend. It's that I put her on such a high pedestal that you were still down here. I put the things of like people, I cared about what people thought so much that you were still down here. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Like I learned that it's him first. He says, seek the kingdom of God first, and then all things will be added afterwards. So if I'm looking at God first, asking him for help in the little stuff, asking him for everything, then I'm gonna change and everything else. And that's exactly what I saw.
Mm.
But I didn't get that at the time.
How old were
That,
you on that day?
bro, this was this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, bro. Like this is March 8th, 2024.
Mhm.
Um, and since then, it's been like amazeballs. It's
Mhm.
like it's not easy, I'll tell you that much, but life became simple.
Mhm.
Like I know how to live life now. And it's a constant, that's the thing, like what you said, it was like a gradual thing. I learned that the Holy Spirit that lives inside of me that helps me like discern what's right and wrong and helps me just move with God on a consistent basis
Yeah.
is something that works on me gradually.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change overnight, but like I said earlier, it's the actions that I put in each day that changes how I think. Almost like he's rewriting all the bad stuff I used to do. He's rewriting the bad ways I used to think. And
Mhm.
it comes with like changing the things I ingest as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't watch like um what's it called? I don't watch like I guess the dumb videos you see on Instagram and stuff like that. Like the
Not
world
like
like
mindlessly scrolling. Yeah.
yeah, like I know that if I'm just sitting here watching this, it's gonna be in my brain and I don't need that stuff. I don't listen to music that's like secular or anything anymore because the cursing or the things that they're talking about is just gonna be in my brain and that's all I'm gonna think about. So it's just doing little stuff like that that he helps me with because I'm not going to think like that if he didn't tell me through his word that I shouldn't look to the things that are immoral.
Mhm.
Like those are like little stuff that are implanted and now I can move in a way that will genuinely make me better in the end. And that's just how it's been. Like it's a constant struggle. It's an everyday struggle because there's things that we want as people that we think are cool, we think is a pleasure, but in reality is bad.
Mhm.
There's a verse, 1 Corinthians 10:23 or 23, I believe. It's like everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial.
Mhm.
And it hits me because it's like we have free will. We can do whatever we want, but is it good for you?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm learning to live by now because I can sit at home and be lazy all the time. I don't have a job technically. I work from home all the time, but if I'm not putting in the work consistently, then what am I doing? Just wasting time. It's like the
Yeah.
actions that I put in, moving forward. So yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool hearing you talk because I want to bring it like full circle, but it's cool hearing you now. It's like you know yourself, though, and like even being able to discern what feels good and what doesn't feel good, like what you value and like heading towards in that direction. And it was cool because like in March, in February, like I saw your content shift. There was like a purpose to it. There was, and then we'll talk about all the things that you're doing right now, just like with how you're sharing like your personal story, which we'll dive into in a bit. But something that you talked about in the beginning of just your journey and your story, I think is so important for everyone to listen to and hear and what it's like being a kid. And it's so hard, bro. Because it's like inconsequential. It's like if you're looking at hunger and homelessness and war and famine, like all this stuff that's like this is more important than your problems. When you're in middle
Mhm.
school, bro, the biggest thing is feeling like you belong and community and peer acceptance, right? And a lot of us at that age, like it's usually between 0 and 7 is when we're like sponges and we're taking in and we're being built. It's like our software being built into hardware Everything
Exactly.
that we're taking in, like our parents' stories, what we're getting in from the news and television, and everything around us is informing us. And then by the time we're like 8, that's like we already have a structure and a foundation, and then it's harder to break free from that. But then also in middle school, we're still really young, and people, all it takes is a little bit of noise, a little bit of saying this looks funny, this looks weird, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this funky, to implement and instill these stories in us, bro, which is why it's like such a long journey and hard journey to break the habit of being yourself, to change into someone who you want to be, to create your reality versus living captive. Like I feel like sometimes like we have stories of you have a terrible singing voice or you're this, and we're in our rooms, bro, and there's nobody around to yell at us or to say we're wrong, and we can't sing. We feel like and that's just an example, but there are a lot of other
Oh, yeah,
ones
you're right.
where nobody's judging us in that moment, but we've placed a prison in our own minds because someone said something that wasn't even true. It's usually a projection of them. And it starts in middle school, and I think a lot of us listening have gone through something like that. And it's created these stories that we carry with us for a long time. And it's like this self-sabotage, this self-suffering, and we don't really identify with it until everything explodes. And the big thing, right, is like being accepted by others because we're trying to fit in. Like we don't know. It took me so long, dude, to figure out who I am, and it's still a constant journey and evolution. But I know what it feels like when I'm like, no, this is what I value. And then I take steps that are in alignment with that. I surround myself with people who talk like that. It's like this path of least resistance, bro. It's sexy, bro. Like it's so alive and it feels so right versus constantly putting on a mask and trying to fit in. It
Mhm.
feels so off, but it's still a survival mechanism. So if you were like we're fitting in, and then you get to a space where like you're starting to find yourself, you're starting to find your voice, you're starting to find your values, and then not just it's like starts with awareness, it starts with finding it, but then it's also like living in it as well. And I think it's really cool how you're stepping into this space, especially in this time where social media is so prevalent. There's so much comparison. I don't knock social media. I think it's so beautiful. I've connected with amazing people through it, and there's so much good that we can do if we're very like intentional with our content that we're putting out. But it's also like we can't deny the like psychological effects that it has on us, and a lot of like the negative, the comparison, the keeping up with the Joneses. Like, oh, there's this whole other dark side. But everything has a yin and a yang. It's just what you
Yep.
kind of choose to focus on. But now you're doing this, like you're putting content out there, people are listening to you, have this amazing platform that you're succeeding in such an incredible way. And I want to just like hear with like authenticity, because I know especially even like as an actor, you're booking commercials, like I need to pay the bills, so I'm just going to book whatever commercial I do next, and then on the face of this commercial with this product that like I don't really totally dig, I'm not really in alignment with, but I can pay my bills, and I can do this, and I can progress my career. So what was your journey with like authenticity like when it came to first it was you're doing all these brand deals because all these people you're like this massive success now, and you're doing amazing content. People want you to share their products. Was it like in the beginning, was it challenging? Was it just like I want everything, I want everything? And then was there a point where it was like, now I only want to do things that I align with, that I value, that I want to promote? I always say like new levels bring new devils,
Mhm.
as we constantly reach the levels that we want to, there's going to be new challenges, new obstacles. And then also just with social media and just that whole world. I just want, what is like, or have you been able to finally step in, and especially hearing you sharing your journey and talking about God, and hearing you so passionate, and it feels like you're stepping into like the truth like you were talking about earlier. So what was your journey been with authenticity in the content creation space?
I would say it was in the beginning, it was like I'm getting bread, like
Mm-hmm.
getting bread, And most of the products weren't bad, but there were some products that I was like, I would not use this at all, or this is really just because of a check. And it it sucked because it was like, am I gonna promote something that I wouldn't even use? Like, but I'm taking because I like the number on the page, and it I would say that it didn't happen often, at least. Like it wouldn't happen often. Most of the time, the things I would get, I would use, but like some clothing brands, I'm like, I would not wear this at all. Like this is just a pretty check. and some of the I remember I did um thing. I did an ad for Scope, a mouthwash ad, and it was like you gotta. It was like you put the water in the cup, and it was like concentrated mouthwash, and it was the dumbest thing in my opinion. And it was a very nice check, but I'm just like, dude, is this something like? Let's look at ourselves real quick. Like, is this something that we should even be on? And that's when like things kind of switched. I was like, all right, I'm only doing what like I genuinely would have fun doing. Um, and it hasn't been like as big as a struggle, to be honest. But I say it's the struggle happened more when I did what's it called? When I was modeling, because I would get like stuff from Spirit Halloween all the time. And they would give more money than the companies that like I was working for at the time. Cause like they would give like $1,000 for like a half day shoot
Yeah.
compared to other people that'd be like 500. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't do Halloween though, and I'm a Christian. Like I can't do that, but the money looked good, you know. Um, I would say now it's also looking through my inbox. So that's how these companies get to you through
Mhm.
your email and or email, and that's like sometimes I would look at stuff like, yo, that's kind of nice, but then there's stuff that is very like a hard no. Like there'll be like sex companies that'll, I'm like, dude, why are y'all hitting me? Like, is this the demographic I give off? But like, it's like little stuff like that. But I don't think it was that hard to stay authentic in that way because, like I said, I had that foundation of my faith at least. Like, it wasn't a stuff that I was gonna venture too far out into. But
Mhm.
I would say now specifically, I'm able to be real with like the stuff I endorse.
Spread on. I love that, bro. And then so you started your modeling, and then that led into the space of content creation. Like, oh, this could be an avenue, this could be a way. And you start
Mhm.
doing it, 5, 6 months happen, and then it's like, was it like boom? Now it's like people are really seeing you, everything's escalating, everything's elevating. And then once that boom kind of happened, when you reach a level of where there's a lot of eyes on you, and not just like eyes, but also people behind screens where there's a lot of safety in being able to say whatever you want, it brings a certain level of scrutiny to the stuff that you do. How has it been in like navigating? I don't even want to say haters. I don't even know if you have haters. You're such a cool dude, right? But like, has it been like, what was that adjustment like once you got more people seeing you in the limelight?
Honestly, I wouldn't say like I went through like that badly, like as bad as other people. I would say in like in the beginning, well in the beginning like blow, some videos that would get like crazy number of like views and stuff, there would be like comments that just random one-off comments of like people just saying stupid stuff, and it'll be usually on ads, like stuff that aren't even pushed on my account that I see people will
Yeah.
say stuff. I'm like I can't, you feel me? Like I have nothing to say to that. I don't think I can be someone that would fall victim to another person's opinion,
Mhm.
especially now. It's like you don't like my stuff, cool. Like there's other people that do, but I'll give you a good message. So like you don't feel bad, but you can feel blessed going away. Like I don't know. I don't think there's any like there's no need to feed into other people's nonsense, in my opinion, at least. And I feel bad because some like I know other people do, and I'm like, dude, you're just falling into the trap, and it's like,
Yeah. Dude, that's like an incredible like full circle moment though. Cause I mean I always say the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, one of them is don't take anything personally, and he breaks it down so beautifully. But being so concerned, I feel like all of us are worried about what people think about us at a young age, right? It's like a survival defense mechanism. But now like you're able to like who you are and you're able to brush through those. Like you don't identify with these like smaller comments. And
bro, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Like
you're growing, bro.
that's actually insane. I never like broke that down to that level. So that's yeah, we grew. That's tough.
Yeah, bro. I love it, man.
That's tough.
All right, now I want to, because you had mentioned this a little bit in the beginning, but this is something that is challenging for everyone, let alone entrepreneurs. I feel like growing up in the school system, we are programmed to be employees where we are told what to do, when to do it, have deadlines, yada yada yada, and it keeps us kind of accountable. But when you're an entrepreneur, when you don't have to go into work and you have everything on your own clock, um, having a schedule, having a routine to be able to follow through every single day is challenging. And a lot of people, don't relate because they're in the corporate world. So I want to talk about consistency
Mm.
and maintaining consistency. There's a bunch of books, The Power of Habits, and all these ideas of how to maintain it, but it is not easy. So I want to hear do you have a practice for maintaining consistency? Just what your relationship is with that.
It's it's like all right. I say discipline, motivation, and passion. Those are like the main three things. I won't say I have like a habit or anything like that, but discipline of I know I need to get this done. Like I need to do this for the person I want to be, not for who I am now. That's one. Motivation is I love this, right? So I need to do this. Simple. And that goes right into passion. If I'm passionate about something, I can be able to, I'm able to do that without stopping. I can do this all the time without feeling, oh, this is getting boring, this is getting tired. No, if I'm passionate about it enough, I'm gonna do it no matter like the time, the place, or whatever. And those are the things that literally kept me going, even in the times where like I struggled mentally with how people thought of me and stuff like that. It was like I can't help but create. Like
Mhm.
I enjoy this too much. Like
Mhm.
I literally see life like it's a movie unfolding.
Yeah.
Like, so if I am constantly thinking like that, there's no way I'm not gonna be able to pick up a camera. If anything, I struggled with not picking up the camera.
Yeah.
Like I feel like 2020, maybe 22 or three, 2022 or three, I think it's 23. I lived through the camera and I didn't get to enjoy life
Mm.
with my own eyes.
Mhm.
And I think towards the end of 23, it was like me learning how to just feel okay with not recording everything.
Yeah.
Like just enjoy it, you know?
That's
So
yeah.
it's
Especially
hard.
like, have you seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
No, so
It is so good. If you love, I don't know if you talk about travel, but if you love traveling, like, and also just, it's just a great film. But there's a moment where Sean Penn's character, he's this photographer, and he's in this beautiful mountain, and he's taking a photo of like a snow leopard or some rare creature. And Walter comes out to him and is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, he has in the scope this amazing photo of this snow leopard, and then he just like doesn't look in the lens, and he just says, I'm gonna butcher the line, but he just basically says, "I don't want to lose this moment," and he just lives it, and he's watching it with his own like bare eyes instead of living through the camera, and I'm like, dude, it gives me goosebumps every time,
that's hard.
and I can imagine because as a content creator, and especially also like documenting your life, is that challenging to find balance in that? Because sometimes like, oh, this is a great moment, I want to take it out versus just being in that moment.
Sorry, I'm writing down the movie right now.
Hmm.
um The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, right?
Yes, with Ben Stiller. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this today.
Hey.
Um that was like the biggest thing. Dude, like I was this biggest hump because I'm thinking I have to upkeep what I post for the people,
Mhm.
right? So I constantly have to post something. In my head, it was ingrained that I have to post on Instagram at least every other day or post 3 times a week or 4 times, whatever. And all I did was record. It was wake up, record everything I did. And it made life a little harder than it needed to be. And because I'm literally trying to record my life, it's not easy. You don't have a cameraman doing it for you. Um, But then it was the thought, I did it for so long that if I didn't do it, something's wrong. Oh, I'm not doing something. I'm being lazy, or like like I'm doing something wrong by not doing so. So,
Mhm.
and it kind of just threw me off for a minute. And it wasn't, I guess, till like recent, maybe this year, that me understanding who I am in God, that I don't need them. I
Mhm.
can enjoy this life. I can create when I want to create. And when I don't, I don't.
Mhm.
Like the world goes on anyway, right? So me missing a day of posting is it's not gonna end. Like there's been times where I would go away for a month and I thought me coming back, um, it's gonna do horrible. It's like my video is not gonna have any views, whatever. That video would do like super well, and it's like, oh, it's almost like you fit right back into the algorithm as soon as you come back, you know? So
Mhm.
it's like worry less. That's what I had to learn. It's just like you are still in your life, you're still in your shoes. How about you live life
Mhm.
and use this as like it's a passion, right? But passion doesn't become the complete life because then it changes from a passion to like work. So I don't need to do that because it did change from passion to work when money started getting involved.
Mhm.
I remember when I first got money or getting paid to shoot, I was just like, oh, this is great. Then it went from this is great to like, this is a little tiring.
Mhm.
And then tiring to like, oh, I hate this. Like
Mhm.
I I'm not trying to work for people. I literally started doing this to be like to like work by myself, like just create stuff. I didn't even know you can make money. It wasn't even about work. It was just because I like to do it. So
Dude, that's like music, bro. It's like musicians are doing it because we genuinely love it. Like we're just making music around a campfire, bro. Like the purest moments in life. And then you get a record deal and then you gotta bang out 10 songs and it just sucks the soul out of the artist. So we gotta find, get back into that root of passion. And they say you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And bro, you're on that path. You're on that path. But bro, I wanted because you had talked about cinematography, and now I act, but I'm also like so fascinated just watching films, but also like what can we do with a camera, and also seeing some of the work that you've done, like visually stunning, like visually really cool. So, and you didn't study this stuff for, I mean, you probably like learned about it, but like you didn't go to school for cinematography. So I want to hear like how did that come about? Was it when you started learning about content creation? It was like, what can we do with the camera? And then you got the camera and was just playing around. So how did you kind of evolve into the cinematographer that you are?
I feel like it was a combination of like everything I've ever seen. I'm a
Mm.
very visual person. I'm a visual and tactile person. So when I create now, literally my process is all right, we have an objective. I'm gonna visualize how I want that objective to look like, and we're just gonna do it. We're gonna just like that's the shot I have in my head. Let's make the shot right now. And that's how it goes. But the creativity obviously comes from all the stuff I've ever watched, like all the little snippets or little moments in a movie where I'm like, oh, that's super cool. I'll probably forget it after that,
Mm.
but in the moments when I'm shooting, I was like, oh shoot, I remember seeing a shot like this. Let me try that,
Mm.
or just little stuff like that. And then you surround yourself with other creatives that are also and what is it that are also passionate with cinematography and wanting to make movie like videos, then you're all just bouncing off ideas and now like it just elevates. Like you just want to recreate the stuff that you see.
Mm.
So yeah, I would say that. Like I said, I literally look at life like a movie scene.
Mm.
Like it's cool. And it just changes how you create as well, because now you're just gonna take your eyes and want to make your video look like it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, dude. There's so much like I want to ask and continue to learn, but we're gonna slowly start to wrap it up now. So now talked about the present, talked about the past a little bit. Now the future, man. Like if you had a vision board, if you're into that, or just a mood board of feelings that you want to feel, moving forward, or certain goals or dreams or ambitions that you want to achieve, what does that like future look like for you?
Future definitely like I want to grow more in my faith so I can speak better. And as I speak better, it'll translate into growth on my platforms. I wouldn't say platforms. Like I really just like YouTube because I get to speak for real on there. So just growing in that to a point where I wouldn't have to look to companies and stuff for money, where I can live off of this. I don't need to be balling, but like I can live off of it and then also go into different avenues with that. Cause I love like the clothes stuff is cool. Like it's cool to make clothes. I still like clothes, but I just stopped caring for all the brands and all that. So shifting my influence into like making clothes and pushing like my faith through the things that I wear. And then also getting married, you feel me? I want to get married, move into like the crib that I always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to be out in Texas, so hopefully
What part of Texas?
like Dallas, but I heard Austin and Houston are really good, so I'm gonna try Houston. I mean, try Austin to like visit. Um, but I also want to just like by God's grace, I can get to like different speaking opportunities, like just to speak. You feel me? Because I feel like there's a lot of people that don't know a lot. You know, like some people are just going through life and they don't hear a lot. So just sharing the word with them and just sharing just like how my life has changed through my experiences and how it could potentially relate to them as well and help them in whatever part of life they're at. Um, it was like I got the toughest comment. Like it was so cool. Someone commented on my YouTube was like, "Dude, I'm 16. You're like where I want to be in the next 5 years." I was like, "Oh wow, that's insane." Um, but yeah, I would say that, and I think that's really it. Yeah, just growing with God, and that'll in turn just grow in everything else, and growing in my relationships because I things have changed for the better, and I know that it's just gonna go up, and I know I'm gonna see a change in myself through it. So I feel like that's what matters.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
And bro, I will say, I mean, there are a lot of people, filmmakers, celebrities, a lot of people with a big audience, with a big platform, but not with a lot to say. You got a lot to say, bro. And people are listening, people are gonna listen. So I'm excited to see where that takes you because you definitely are gonna be speaking and inspiring people in some capacity. So freaking stoked, bro. All right. Now I want to finish off with just a few, actually I got quite a few like rapid fire questions. Keep it a professional podcast here. So first one, just like a handful of characteristics or values, like what would you say your values are now?
Obedience, integrity, um, faith, and love. Yeah, yeah.
Now what right now what brings you the most joy?
Hmm. Doing things that involve God. And that's like literally everything. Like me editing earlier, like or me editing now, it's like different because I get like it's like, oh shoot, like this is so nice. Like that shot is crazy or stuff like that. Or when I'm like at church and we're just all having fun, or when I'm playing basketball and we're just doing it, but I brought him into it. It's like a different type of feeling because
Yeah,
I know it's helping me through it and stuff like that. So
yeah, but
it's
dude,
very easy to not do that. So yeah.
editing such a it's like you're a sculptor. It's like you're a Michelangelo, like finding things as you continue to do it. It's such a trip. Um, Now where would you say you find the most inspiration?
Hmm. I probably found it from God, bro. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie. Dude, like I won't all right. It sounds crazy, but I'm being like super honest. Like I just did a video for Foot Locker.
Mhm.
And before I went in, I was like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. Help me out, please, because this is like new territory, kind of. Because I was shooting for their newest store.
I saw the video, so good.
Literally, as I'm making the video, just ideas are popping into my head. It's not like I preconceived these ideas are just popping into my head. So that, but other creatives, like being with like-minded people, seeing how they think, seeing how they shoot, that just grants me like, oh shoot, I can do that. Like that's literally how I started content creation. I saw the guy making a sneaker unboxing. I was like, oh yeah, I could do that, and
Mhm.
just did it my own way. Like so, yeah.
I love that. All right, what's your favorite anime? Big question.
Ooh, I say top three. Hunter X, no, Hunter x Hunter. Sorry,
Mhm.
Demon Slayer and Vinland Saga.
Everyone keeps telling me about Demon Slayer. I gotta get on it. I started
Oh,
watching a little
you
bit, but I need to.
need to watch Demon Slayer,
Do
bro.
you because you had talked about like finding like when it comes to, like creating stuff, you'll find it from shots from like films and stuff. I know like the Western culture of like cinema has taken so much from anime because genuinely they're all ahead of their time and their storytelling is insane. Do you get inspiration from anime?
I think the animes I watch are too fast paced to get inspiration from. I'm just worried about who they cooking or whatever. But they do have some like the silhouette shots I really like. So I guess yeah. Their silhouette shots are really nice.
Yeah. Word, word, word. All right, now what is your like favorite form of creative expression?
YouTube, long form content.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. A person who you look up to, person who's inspired you. We already know God, but anyone else?
um, um, my parents.
Mm.
Once I got older, I started to like understand a lot more of like what they had to do to get here and to make us have like a good life, you know? Because you live in middle class, but like you live in middle class, but living low class, but like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like that because you're just in it. So like
Mhm.
they made life feel good without knowing that like life wasn't particularly good at the time.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, now I know you're stepping into more of like your own content creation, but what would your dream collab be?
Dream collab, probably like Porsche,
Mhm.
Porsche, tweaking Porsche. Uh, either a car collab, Porsche or Chevrolet or Chevrolet. I don't know. Camaro. I love Camaros. Those are my favorite cars.
Yeah.
So Camaros and Porsches are like my favorite cars. Or a tech collab, like
Ooh,
big gaming guys. So a collab with like GeForce or Nvidia. I mean, or like Asus or something. Because I did a phone collab for the first time and or
yeah.
the two phone collabs actually. I don't know. I did a phone collab and that was like super cool. But
Mm.
yeah, just getting into the stuff that I use, like cameras or stuff like that. So yeah.
Right on. You're speaking into existence, baby. Let's go. All right, I'm almost done. Almost done. The favorite project that you've worked on.
Ooh. Ooh. I guess GLD, they sent me skydiving.
Oh, that's yeah.
That was cool.
So
I think uh, yeah, let's just say that one. Because like, yeah, there's a bunch, but like let's go with that one.
that's awesome.
Skydiving, I want to go again, honestly.
Yeah, I love that. All right, and then last question for anyone listening here who's like that 16-year-old kid trying to chase their dreams. What's like the one piece of advice you would give to them?
I say learn who you are. That's like what really that's where it starts. If you understand like who you are and your identity, no one can tell you otherwise after that. And that's when life gets simpler because you're not worried about the things that don't matter, like what people think or what people are going to say. That's when you can beeline to whatever you have to do. Like it really hits different because distractions will be out the way and you will care more for what you're actually passionate about. So yeah, I say find your identity, find out who you are and be stamped in it, and then learn what you're passionate about. because your passion is what overall you'll want to do in life. Everyone gets a job, but not everyone's passionate about it, and that's why they hate their jobs. So,
Amen, brother. Amen. All right, Praise. We're wrapping up here now. Let the audience know where they can find you, where they can support you on this journey. I know you got so many cool things brewing, and genuinely, again, so much wisdom and inspiration, and so much of your content, especially the long form stuff you're doing now. So just let the audience know where they can find you.
praise Asalu on everything now. Praise like praise the Lord, and Asalu, Asalu. Yeah.
Right. All right, brother, dude. I appreciate you so much for being here. Always good connecting, dude. Especially with like my male friends. I feel like I grew up in such like a female dominant, environment with, my mom and my sister. And it's kind of rare to find good dudes, and you were one of them, bro. It's been such an inspiration ever since day one we met on Wawa, and just continue to see you do your thing, bro. Keep on keeping
That's
on.
tough, bro. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you for even thinking of me to have me on here. I remember you started from the Philosophy Fridays, and to see you very consistent with the podcast has been great as well, bro. So y'all need to show love to my boy, man. Come on.
Thanks, bro.